welcome to Talking Down the Highway, a Beach Boys podcast presented by Strange Currencies Music. I'm Matt.
I'm Glenn.
I'm Tim. This is take 20 of the intro.
Yeah, take 20. We're setting records tonight.
I'm opening up my yerba mate here.
Everybody else to look like really exhausted from playing a 2-minute pop song 20 times. Like, oh, yes.
Wow.
Exhausting.
12 hours.
Fucking exhausting. This is literally actually take 2 because let's be honest, people. A little bit out of practice.
We don't know
We
what
are
we're
out
doing.
of practice.
We hadn't recorded in a while. We had to take an off week, and what the hell are you doing?
This yerba mate is nice. Thank you, Lily, for leaving this behind.
Anyway, so
That's tasty.
we got started. I start rolling, and we're having conversation as we're wont to do.
Great banter.
Great banter.
And then I realized that
Unrepeatable.
I was not recording myself.
Which
These
I would
two
still
jerks
argue
were being
it was
recorded.
probably better
Yeah.
without your
Just
mic.
like
Just
your
a
attitude
couple
today.
cool guys talking and then some empty space for a while. That sounds
just
nice.
like a little vacuum.
I do think
When I think of cool guys,
Hey.
yes.
Well, hey, our billions of listeners can't be wrong.
3 billion roughly.
3 billion roughly. Hey, like and subscribe. Thanks to everyone who's been on the interwebs and all those cyber sleuths out there following along.
Listens were strong while we were away from recording. Listens were strong.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, reads on
people know
Strange
that.
Currencies Music out of nowhere.
Really?
Like, we had one day where there was one article that got read 500 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's reading that?
I don't know. It had to have been linked somewhere.
Yeah, that's great. That's exciting. There's a lot of really good content out there. I'm just saying.
Great
you know,
stuff.
I know.
I'd love to see a little more.
For
Like
shame.
the last 50 articles that were written for it were written by me.
What?
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Well, that's not totally right. Yeah, Remy helped with a couple of them. So
All right.
but
anyway.
I haven't read any of them, so do they really exist?
Wow.
I can't read.
Wow.
we've established that that's canon.
Yeah.
That's canon.
Well, it's a
You
good
can't
thing.
even read Wikipedia.
Nope.
It's a good thing you don't need to
You
read.
have to have somebody read it to you.
That's right.
Tim has a roommate
I
that is
know.
only there to read random Wikipedia pages.
I call
to
my
him.
mom, and she reads it to me. It's nice.
AI, man.
My mom is not AI.
Well, hey, we should talk about movies today then instead of
Hold on, we're
reading.
not there yet.
Well,
Yeah, we should go back to what we've been doing.
You have forgotten.
Because I have stuff that I've been doing that I want to talk about.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah, what have you been up
we were
to?
both out of town. Where were you?
I was in Kansas City. I was. I'm a high school teacher, so I was chaperoning some students at a conference. Yeah, it was good times. We, had some barbecue, some burn ends.
You didn't go to Joe's, though.
I did not go to Joe's.
Were you on the Kansas side or the Missouri side?
The only side is the Missouri side.
Okay. Mr.
Kansas City,
Expert over
Kansas isn't really a thing. I don't think.
I'm pretty sure that Joe's is on the Kansas side, if I remember correctly.
No, there are multiple Joes.
There's multiple Joe's. The one that I went to is like out of a gas station or something, basically, like an old converted gas station.
I think
It's not.
I think you maybe
sounds
went to
good,
the wrong.
actually.
No,
I don't.
it is an old gas station that has been converted into a restaurant. Like you can tell where the pumps were and everything. And
I think you've been
it was
punked. I don't know.
fucking delicious.
Yeah.
Great.
We were, we didn't have transportation. We were relegated to the Kansas City streetcar, so we were kind of, in the Crown Plaza area. But no, we had a good time. There was,
Did you hit up any record stores?
did not hit up record stores. I
Sounds like
usually
you didn't go then.
Well, I usually have a chaperone with me. That allows me to
chaperone
be
you?
No, to chaperone the kids so I can
Okay.
sneak away.
Okay.
But last minute, my chaperone canceled on me, so
So it was just you?
It was me and 9 squirrely high schoolers.
okay, that's not
so
so bad.
it wasn't
you
too
gotta,
bad.
You got to break away. That's the point of
Yeah,
those
next
trips is to
time.
break away from the group.
Next
We
time I'll
broke
try and
away
break away.
when we went
Yeah,
to
we did.
to St. Louis.
St.
We went
Louis?
to like 5 different record shops.
Yeah,
You just
don't
gotta
tell my principal that. But,
Pick the most, independent, smartest kid, and tell them they're in charge.
You're in charge.
and have them sign some paperwork.
Right.
So if anyone dies, it's
I'm
their
out.
fault.
I'm out
Yeah,
this afternoon.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Easy.
Well, it is what it is. I did come back with a Kansas City Monarchs jersey, so I got to pay my tributes, my respects to Jackie Robinson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his It's good times. Good times. What were you doing this week?
So I went to Texas.
Oh, did you have barbecue?
I didn't have barbecue. I had a lot of Mexican food.
Oh, okay.
And some margaritas.
Tex-Mex.
There it is.
Yeah.
Tex-Mex is underrated.
I agree. I am a huge.
It is so cool to hate
Tex-Mex
on
fan.
Tex-Mex, but it's fucking great.
It's
like,
delicious.
it's delicious.
I mean, so the best meal I had was just like an enchilada. It was a combination plate. It was 2 enchiladas, just cheese enchiladas, 1 tamale, and 1 crispy taco, beans and rice, but with
Sounds great.
carne asada, or sorry, chili con carne over the top of of enchiladas and beans and rice.
Nice.
And like that was in the description, but when I got it, I almost forgot about it because like the chunks of meat were very small and everything kind of ran all over the place. Everything was just coated in a layer of grease,
delightful.
and it was really good.
yeah, hell yeah.
Where in Texas were you?
So I went to San Antonio
Okay.
for the eclipse.
Ooh, you
but-
saw the clips.
But
Oh,
But he forgot about the
I
eclipse. on
forgot
that
to look at
day.
the sun. No, it was cloudy in San Antonio.
that sucks.
And I had a couple people from my work were in Dallas, and they got like it was kind of cloudy, but they got a sunbreak like exactly
Yeah,
at the right
at the right
time. We went to this bar way in the middle of nowhere. I have friends who lived in San Antonio, and we went to this like little dive bar next to a dried up lake. Perfect spot. It was like near the center of totality, but the clouds were kind of they were there already, but the sun was poking out every once in a while with the partial eclipse happening. But by the time totality happened, it was just full on clouds.
Oh, that sucks.
But day still turned to night,
Okay.
and people
All right.
still cheered, and it
Yeah.
got cold. So
that's good.
it was cool, and I've seen totality before in 2017.
Right.
I was gonna say, yeah, we were like right in the path.
Yeah,
of
we
it,
got some
more or
good
less.
totality.
Well, I had to go down to like near Salem or whatever for that, but yeah. So it wasn't like I missed a once in a lifetime thing, but like, it would have been so cool because when I saw it in 2017, it was like 10 seconds
Yeah,
of
it wasn't very
totality.
long,
I mean,
right.
because we were barely in there.
Right.
This was like 2.5 minutes
Right.
of darkness. And
Kansas City, it was
really
like 4 minutes.
Yeah?
We missed it. We came back right before on
okay.
Sunday, and it happened Monday. So
Yeah, it was cool, but I did get to experience a cool Texas lightning storm.
Okay.
So me and my friend were driving back to his place. We got like stuck in it. It was like so rainy. The windshield wipers weren't even doing anything.
Oh, nice. That's loads of fun.
And then on the way
It
out of
actually
town,
is.
it is fun. Well, he was scared, but
Yeah.
because he was driving,
Oh,
and we kept hitting these high water spots, even like on an uphill section. Like we're getting onto a ramp, and he's like, "What the hell's? Surely there can't be high water here. What about gravity?" But on the way out of town, so storm was fun. On the way out of town, I'm at the airport in San Antonio, and I'm sitting next to William Shatner somehow.
What?
Yeah.
Literally, William
Yeah.
Shatner.
I don't know who it is. Like I'm just sitting there. Everything's delayed because there's like a storm in Dallas, which is where I'm flying to before I fly back here.
Dude, you buried the lead here, man.
And well, because it's sequentially the last thing that happened.
Wow, okay.
So just like some people sat next to me. It was like a couple. Lady puts her coat and stuff on this seat right next to me, and then a man sits down. And then like I'm just like on my phone, and I hear some other guy come up to this person and say, "Well, excuse me, sir," and blah 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 blah. And I thought, oh, they must know each other, they're coworkers or something. But then the other voice was like, "What? Okay." It was just like a really awkward interaction.
exchange. Right.
And I look over and I'm like, oh, that's why he went up to him, because it's William Shatner. But I could tell he wasn't into like saying hi to fans.
Yeah.
He's like 93 or something like that.
He's riding coach.
Well,
Business
I think he
class?
was first class. He was going to L.A., which is like a different gate, but it was like right there.
Oh, okay. So you were in the
But
you
he's
were in the
wearing
concourse.
sunglasses. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
He's wearing sunglasses and like. I could tell he seemed a little grumpy because I think they
Yeah.
were having issues with their seats.
I
Like
think
his
he's
wife was
always
going back and
grumpy.
forth.
I get a sense that Shatner's kind of a
So I gave him space, and I didn't like nerd out. Or I snuck a picture, which I didn't want to do. But he got up to go to the counter, and he was facing away. So it was just like click.
click. All right.
And
so
so
you
it's
could
the back
say
of
you
William
did
Shatner.
it. The back.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then he flew away.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I guess he was there speaking at a conference or something.
You
like
didn't.
that,
You didn't
so.
have your copy of William Shatner
Of Has Been?
Has Been or something.
No.
Yeah.
I thought about
him
like
sign
maybe like humming a tune from that or something, but no.
Let's see. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my week.
Nice. Exciting.
Yeah.
I don't
Made
even
it.
have a story really.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you got floors.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have
we have
floors now.
floors in my house now. So
Yeah.
That's good. And your mic is recording, so
It is.
there's that.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, what a week.
What a
Yeah.
week.
Didn't have time to listen to any Beach Boys practically.
Oh, I listened to Beach Boys.
I mean,
Well,
I
hey,
did.
we didn't just listen to Beach Boys. We watched, well, fake Beach Boys. So let's take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about what it is that we're talking about this week.
Yeah.
All right, we are back, and this week we're talking about Del Taco.
Yeah.
No, we just had like a 5-minute long conversation about.
You weren't recording that?
No, we just talked off air about the many virtues of Del Taco and its vast superiority.
I didn't
to Taco
realize
Bell.
there's two in our relative area.
All the way at the edges of the metro area. So hey, I know people are listening who have the power to do something about that. Let's bring a Del Taco into like the somewhere near the center of Portland.
Yeah.
That all of us can enjoy.
Yeah.
Not just people in Gresham.
I don't know.
Hillsborough.
I keep Del Taco as just kind of like one of those, like if I'm in California, a special thing.
I gotcha.
If I have it too much, I think it might, taint the.
Taint. Weird.
Oh, sorry.
But no, that is a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's classic road trip food.
Yep.
Great.
3 a.m. breakfast burrito, done.
I don't know if I've ever had it. I got to check it out. Yeah.
There it is.
We have so oversold it to Tim, by the way.
We have.
He's never-
It's going to be awful.
Hey, I'm going to go out there. This might ruffle the feathers of our native Californian over there. Del Taco, way better than In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, stop. Okay. Well,
I think an In-N-Out is coming to Portland.
I'm trying not to get too riled up because
Overrated.
I've been riled up so much this week, like watching what
Riled
we're
up
watching.
is like your default.
I know, and I'm trying to like lower my emotional fight or flight responses.
In-N-Out is overrated. Come on.
You know what's overrated?
He's going to try to hurt me now.
No, I'm not. I'm
Philly
trying to bring.
cheesesteaks are
I'm
not
trying
overrated.
to. I'm trying to reel us in here. I watched a movie this week.
So
that
this week we're
was
talking about the second half of a movie.
awful. It was.
Hold on, you've got to.
It
You
was-
talked about Tim bearing the lead. Now you're like
I don't know what's
bringing
going on.
the big point out way too early. We have to
think
talk
In-N-Out
about
is
the
good.
movie before we actually evaluate how we feel about the movie, because we're going to rate this movie on the same scale that we rate the albums. So just hold on.
I'm just saying.
We are
and
talking about the second half of The Beach Boys, An American Family.
If you want an American fast food experience, I think In-N-Out is the
It's been
one.
years since I've had it, and I remember liking
It's the
it.
one. It's good. It's Southern California.
'Cause
It's
it's simple.
LA.
It's just like-
it's
It
Beach
is
Boys.
simple. I'm not saying it's
Beach
bad.
Boys.
Oh, you know what I had
But
in
it's not
Texas?
obsession-worthy.
I had Whataburger in Texas.
Whataburger is better than In-N-Out.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. I don't know.
You clearly have not lived in Texas because Whataburger's fine, but if it's again, if you have too much of it,
This is
it's-
now officially a
was
fast
like
food
a-
podcast.
it was like if
we
a-
should totally do a fast food podcast. I'm on board with
It was
this.
like a better Whopper. It was like a Whopper, but the buns
Sure.
were
See, now
tastier and more
I
buttery.
don't get a burger at
Oh, what do you get?
they have a chicken crispy, it's like chicken strips.
Yeah.
What are
On
we
a sandwich.
doing?
Hold
We're
on,
like
and it's got
40 minutes
it's got
into this
barbecue
podcast.
sauce.
Okay.
and
We have not
cheese.
even talked about.
Hold on. It is the only good thing about having to fly
Good
through
Lord, I've already
Dallas.
turned
Like,
off this
Oh, okay.
podcast.
Yeah. It's so good. So good.
Right. I mean, there is.
I mean, I'm an Arizonan, so we had
There
Whataburger
isn't.
there too.
I don't know if there used to be a Whataburger at the Dallas airport, but there's not anymore. Because I looked.
There just was like last year.
I don't know. I looked on the website. It wasn't listed. If so,
DFW or
DFW.
Love Field?
DFW.
Okay.
Maybe it's
I'm
Love.
trying to remember.
That's where I just went through. Anyway,
Yeah, I was just there.
I don't know. It was in San Antonio.
Flew
where
to
we
jolly
were.
old England and got Whataburger on the
Weird.
way. Yeah.
I'm so sad. This is so
Because I wanted
depressing.
more. I had it in San
talking
Antonio. I was
fast
like,
food.
I wonder if they have it in Dallas, and I didn't see. Or maybe
It's also a
Greasy.
massive fucking
yeah. It
airport.
maybe it just wasn't in my concourse.
Yeah.
That's probably all it is.
Poor Brian Wilson is sitting in his bedroom.
Okay, fine.
With a bag
We're
of
gonna talk about this
fast
movie.
food hamburgers.
You know, I can't wait to talk about this movie. In fact, I've decided in the last week or two that I'm gonna start seriously watching movies.
Oh, okay.
Like as a serious film connoisseur. I mean, I've been a music guy my whole life, and you know, if you read Strange Currencies, you know that I've spent more than my fair amount of time dabbling in music. But I've decided I really want to start to get into film.
okay.
And
this
I've
is
decided.
probably not one to start with.
Well, so I started last week officially. So I'm doing the whole like Criterion.
okay.
Dear.
Like I'm not saying I want to watch like every Criterion film, but I decided to sort of start.
Possible.
Do you start
With a
with
lot of those?
Citizen Kane?
No, I mean I've seen Citizen Kane before. It's great, but partially inspired by the Beach Boys concert and just conversation, and partially inspired by the fact that I do love the movie. I bought Shaft.
Okay.
The Criterion Blu-ray of Shaft.
I haven't seen that.
So we watched Shaft last week, and I still love it.
I've got the I've never seen it. I've got the Criterion Quadrophenia if you want to borrow it.
I might, yeah.
And
But yeah,
Nancy,
so I got
too.
Shaft. So I watched Shaft a lot in high school because I literally played in a band called Shaft. We named ourselves Shaft before any of us had ever seen the movie.
Wow.
And then it became like this thing. So hey, yeah, we're gonna have like Shaft watch parties, and we'd watch like the whole trilogy because it's Shaft's big score, Shaft in Africa. Wow. And so we'd watch them, and I don't know, I take a certain degree of pride in the fact that me as like this 15, 16-year-old, small town goofy kid, like actually had a functional knowledge of blaxploitation film because of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, last week began my series. Like I'm actually reviewing films and rating them for the first time on Letterboxd.
Oh,
and
Letterboxd,
music
okay.
and everything.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, so yeah, the whole point is to like become more serious about film. And
So
so
you're
now
gonna be rating this against
this
Shaft.
week. Well, so then I realized, all right, well, I guess the second movie that I've completed since starting this whole seriously watching film is fucking Beach Boys. Beach Boys, an American Family. We've already talked about the first half of this movie several months back. Made for TV 2000, right? Is the production date on it?
I will say the first half wasn't that bad.
Yeah, we had relatively.
Actually,
I didn't actually go back and listen to that podcast this week. I should have, but we had relatively positive enough things to say about the
I
first
thought the
half
first
of the
half
film.
was pretty good.
casting was good. First half. I mean, we got
I
taste
think
of Murray Wilson.
right, but he
Casting was
does.
great.
I think he's even better in the second one, Kevin Dunn. But overall, that part of it was good. Or that half.
But the second half of the film was brutal.
It is rough.
Funny though.
The Brian Wilson.
The
overacting is just
And the fat suit.
it's palpable. Like I can't.
Yeah. Let's start by talking about the character of Brian Wilson. I'd never even bothered looking up the dude's name. In the first half,
did
it
at one
was
point. I don't
it was
remember.
passable in the first half. It's like, all right, I don't love it, but whatever. But oh my god, I have a whole lot of notes on here, and I just put here stoned Brian, or really kind of any under the influence Brian is fucking intolerable.
I'm tripping.
It is so bad. Some of the worst acting I've ever seen.
Yep.
It's just awful.
Part of me wonders because let's be honest, this is a heavily Lovian approach to the Beach Boys.
It is very much so.
It is very much kind of influenced by Mike Love's perspective. Yeah. It is John Stamos produced.
Hey, wait a minute. Sounds like it's time for an episode of Heroes and Villains.
Oh, okay.
All right, it's Heroes and Villains. We're talking about the heroes and the villains, whatever it is we happen to be talking about this week. And this week we're talking about the Beach Boys and American Family Part 2. All right, heroes. We always talk about the heroes first. Heroes are fucking us because we sat through the second half of the... we've not buried the lead. We've like jumped right to it. Second half of this movie fucking sucks. And we all sat through it and watched it for you, our listeners. So we are heroes this time.
I've seen it twice.
I have too.
I've watched it a few times.
See, the hero, though, here is really... It's the version of John Stamos in the final scene where he's playing the drums and has a mustache and a ponytail. Or whoever did his hair and makeup is the hero, maybe.
The guy who's not the manager,
cameo.
but like the Capitol Records, Nick Vinay, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's such a John Stamos. Like, Stamos like decided he was going to have himself reflected in that character. Like he has the look and just I don't know. Anyway,
well, the hero is Kevin
heroes.
Dunn as Murray.
Yes and no. Like he does good. But I have a note here.
Okay.
On his performance. So there's the scene where he is leading his new band, the Sunrays, right?
Right.
He's in the studio with them, he's directing them and everything, which I love. He's he's telling the Sunrays that they need to sing sexier.
And
from
the heart.
Which is great. And also from the heart.
And be happy.
But he starts dancing like this. And our many, many billions of listeners can't see what I'm doing, but I've got my hands kind of up in the air, sort of doing the shoulder shrug, hand pump thing.
I
And he's
don't remember
wearing
that.
this big fucking red tie. And who exactly does Murray look like when he's doing this, wearing a big fucking red tie and a suit?
Mike Love, I guess?
No, somebody who is somehow even worse than Mike Love.
Adolf Hitler?
Charles Manson,
Basically almost on that level.
Eugene
The
Landy.
scourge of America.
Donald Trump?
He looks exactly like Donald fucking Trump when Donald Trump is in
Okay.
party mode. And
I
he's
get you.
doing
Yeah,
that stupid and wearing the big oversized red fucking tie. And it's like, you know what? Yeah.
I don't think you can fault Kevin Dunn.
Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, maybe not, but still.
Anyway, the villain is the guy who plays Brian
He's bad.
and Mike Love.
Mike
and
Love
John
is, of
Stamos.
course, Mike Love and John Stamos are the real villains of this whole thing. I mean, let's be honest. The only good thing that John Stamos has ever done has traveled via helicopter and zip line. Like, that is objectively cool. But other than
Right.
that, this is like, gross.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I was going with this. It feels like the performance of Brian Wilson was fueled by maybe Mike Love and John Stamos. No, be more of an idiot.
Crazier.
Be
Yeah, be
crazier.
dumb.
Be,
Yeah.
Be dumb. Be insufferable.
He really is dumb.
He is. He just is. It makes you just be like, ugh. Which I'm
It's
sure is
exhausting.
probably how Mike Love saw Brian.
Yeah.
I do appreciate. I guess we're done with heroes and villains.
Yeah, but that's fine. Good episode.
I do appreciate the Brian actor totally switching gears in that recording session sequence where Murray comes in all drunk. Brian is very he doesn't even really have the California accent at that point. He's like very focused and excited. He's like doing the work. He's professional, and then he even gives his dad crap and embarrasses him and stuff like that. Like, it's definitely I don't know. I don't know if that's a good performance because he can do both, or if during that scene he just kind of forgot to even play Brian and was just being a guy.
Stop trying, yeah.
But I did appreciate that there was some differentiation there, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how we want to talk about this. I haven't broken down scene by scene as far as what happens in what order.
Wow.
And I have notes, but we don't want to go over every little moment.
Maybe not every moment.
Dear
I mean, we
Lord,
are already at
please,
23
no.
minutes here.
Yeah.
So
I do want to point out that you can, even though the resolution's a little small on YouTube, it's a little blurry. You can tell at a couple points that they do dub over when Brian is saying Van Dyke.
Yeah, I was
just
Samuel.
gonna say.
Yeah.
Samuel.
You've met Samuel. I mean, it sounds
Mr.
natural,
Black.
but you can tell the lips don't match up.
Was that the legal department?
I think it was Van Dyke.
Yeah,
coming-
he basically threatened a lawsuit,
Yeah.
right? He pulled a Mike Love.
He's not portrayed poorly, but he's portrayed as just a total wacko. I'm not a wacko,
Yeah.
but just kind of
a
embarrassing.
pretentious douchebag.
Yeah,
which
ridiculous.
really, the douchebag, of course, is Mike Love.
Well,
Right.
And
This is Mike Love's vision of the Beach Boys story. And so,
Right.
of course,
Right.
he
That's what
has
it
to
is.
portray Van Dyke
Right.
Parks as this, stupid, or not stupid, but
stupid,
quasi-intellectual, pretentious,
So- Yeah, he's played by Anthony Rapp. He has a line that I made a note of. He says, because he's being introduced to Mike Love, the cousin. He says, where I come from, we have a saying about cousins. It's all right to invite one into your home, just don't marry one. And, and that's stupid. And then he has a line later about the Beatles, meeting the Beatles, and they're too intercontinental. But we're going to talk about this in the next episode, but I watched this little TV documentary about the Beach Boys that was released back then. And Van Dyke is one of the interviews, and he says the Beatles line. That's actually taken from real
Wow,
life. He says,
interesting. They're
I've
too
met a Beatle or two individually, and they're nice enough, but they're intercontinental, which is a little too much for me. It's like, what the hell does that mean? But he literally said it. So I wouldn't be surprised if he literally said the one about the cousins, too.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
But just the way in which they highlight those aspects, and not the fact that
Exactly.
he was writing brilliant lyrics for Smile.
Yeah. And they didn't even get the rights to Smile, the songs or whatever.
Sorry. Philly's just wanting to walk.
Oh, I thought you were reacting to how funny it was that
No,
all the other music in
Nick
the movie.
Castellanos actually hit a baseball, which
Wow,
that is.
I don't know. Who
you don't
that
know what
is.
that means,
No.
but yeah.
Did he do it with a hockey stick? Because you usually watching hockey.
It kind of looks like he tries sometimes.
Hmm.
There's a joke in Philadelphia right now that they've painted all of the buses, the SEPTA buses in Philly with pictures of Nick Castellanos so that they don't hit anything.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I don't even know anything about that guy, but I get that joke. It's funny. But yeah, all the music in this movie is real Beach Boys music, except for when they're doing Smile, and it's just all like nothing. It's just like a weird little sound.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They really
it's comical. They really gloss over it.
Well, not only gloss over, but they just undercut how brilliant that music and that they just make it seem like Brian's just so fucked up and out of his gourd, and he's just in the care of these hangers on who are
just making them make
drainers
barking dog sounds and stuff.
And all they're doing is just fucking around and screwing up with the formula, or as they say, don't screw around with the formula. They change that. But anyway, they just completely pass off Smile as if it's just this like asinine, we're just gonna fuck around because what else are you gonna do other if you're rich and you're just gonna, I don't know. It's some of the most brilliant music ever made, and they just treat it like shit in this thing.
And the other weird thing that they do, so there's this sequence where Brian is finally inspired to do his what is it? The fucking Teenage Symphony to God.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard that phrase before? I hear he wanted to be a Teenage Symphony to God.
It's a blank to blank.
Oh yeah,
that's you've said. Yeah, that's canon now.
But and they do the Pet Sound sessions. There's a great scene where Murray's drunk and he comes and tries to tell Hal Blaine how to play the drums, and then they kick him out.
Which they do take some of the elements of that conversation from the Al sing a sexier.
Yeah. But I mean, first of all, Kevin Dunn, he's got like vulnerability and depth. That's what I like about his Murray. Like he's a dick, but he's also like kind of sad and pathetic and
a little bit of
sympathetic. But then so the movie makes it seem like Pet Sounds got shelved.
Well, so I put in here one of my first off, the timeline is all fucked up in this whole movie, and they say this, that they're portraying some things that are real and fictionalized and all that. They're upfront at least about that in both halves of the film. Yeah. But they fuck with the timeline so much that it does just create a really, really false impression of things like the Pet Sound sessions versus the Smile sessions. Yeah. Like there's they conflate a lot of the Smile mythology with Pet Sounds. Like, when he brings a piano in for the beach, that actually yielded some cool shit. But that cool shit was Pet Sounds. No, actually, that was part of the whole Smile thing.
Right. Yeah. But like, there's a whole scene where he's like, "They killed my album," and he's talking about Pet Sounds. Like, no, they didn't kill your album.
They put it out, and it didn't sell as much as it did.
Yeah,
this whole narrative that Pet Sounds was this colossal commercial failure is not true. Right. I mean, did it sell what people wanted to? No. Or what Capitol wanted to? No. Did it sell what Brian Wilson hoped it would, knowing that it was like his magnum opus? No. But it's not like it's this fucking flop.
Failure, right?
Yeah. There's all kinds of weird. Like, they have the entourage coming in during the Pet Sound session, which is just totally not right.
Right.
Like I said here, Smile's totally conflated with Pet Sounds.
Well, and that's the thing.
Even later, like the Manson stuff is not really happening when it happened.
Okay.
Well, and that's the other thing, though, is again, this is Mike Love's perspective, and so in Mike's eyes, Pet Sounds is trash, and Smile is trash, and it's like. The Beach Boys are, fun, and endless summer. That's it.
Right, and there's a scene where Mike is, shitting on Van Dyke, and Van Dyke quits, or Samuel quits. And he's, I think the lyrics
do we have to refer to him as Samuel, or are we going to get sued?
No.
Okay. Van Dyke is on team Talking Down the Highway.
Yeah. Talking Down the Highway.
I think the lyrics that Mike reads, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" I think they're made up.
Yeah. It's like Geronimo something. Yeah.
Because the story is it's cabin essence that he's saying, like, what is this crow flies?
The crow flies uncovered the cornfield. Yeah.
So that's fake. But then Samuel storms out, and I think that's the same scene where. Yeah, Mike is like, look, he doesn't care about, you, Dennis. That's why he has Hal play all the drums. And he gets Brian to say, "You're a clubber, Denny, not an artist." And then he gets mad and leaves.
He does.
It's very over-dramatized. One thing about this, like this movie and TV movies in general that I think is funny is like, once you know like what happened in real life and you watch, everything is just these little vignettes, these little scenes where like, they just say things just to get like the historical
Right.
thing. Like when Murray and Audrey show up and Murray makes Brian sign away the rights to the songs.
Right.
As they're leaving, Brian stands up and he's like, "Hey mom, remember what you used to tell me about dogs and how they bark at some people and not others, and there's like vibrations? Yeah, that was cool. Anyway, bye."
Yeah, right.
Just to establish the good
Just to
vibrations
throw those
thing.
in, yeah.
I don't know.
My favorite, just like total, we just have to throw this in here for narrative that serves Mike Love is there's the thing where he's talking about Murray having sold off the songs and everything.
Yeah.
He's like, he did this to like undercut me. It's just like when he forgot to put my name on California Girls and all the other stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like
that's right.
totally referencing the many Mike Love lawsuits
right.
over Chug-a-Lug.
And then he throws a chair into the pool.
Yeah, yep.
See, let's. What I'm saying is, this is a good movie.
It's fucking great. Yeah. Let's take a quick break, and then we want to come back. I want to actually talk about a couple of things that I did like in here, but yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
All right, we are back on Talking Down the Highway, and we've done plenty of kind of context, giving some overviews of the second half of the Beach Boys' American Family, and apparently I don't have any, but apparently Matt has some things that he kind of doesn't mind about it.
Yeah.
That you decent. So we're going to talk about some of the
few highlights, things that we
like. A few
like.
highlights. And I guess maybe I will throw you a bone. The only highlight I have is that it is kind of funny to watch what now that we know the story, because we're nerdy enough that we've read, and there's documents
We've
out
spent
there.
a lot of time getting into the Beach Boys.
We have spent a lot of time talking about the
We've
Beach
read
Boys.
a lot of Wikipedia.
We've read lots of Wikipedia. We've read some interviews. We you kind of know the story. You know the general. And when somebody's kind of like, throwing their own version of it. So it's kind of funny to like point out and see all of the absurdity and all of the name drops. And
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
There's things to enjoy about this film.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. There it is.
And I wonder if your highlights are like when obscure songs pop up, like when he's playing "Let the Wind Blow."
I did like that.
Yeah, stuff like that.
That was fine.
Okay.
All right. A few things that I just observations that I have. It more or less opens up with a scene with Audrey and Murray in their home, and I just have to say, two-step, sidestep, it still absolutely fucks.
It's a banger.
Yeah,
it's a
fucking
banger.
Yeah.
I can see why Murray just listens to it
Yeah,
over and over again.
and over.
Well, yeah.
It's solid.
This is some of his characterization when he's feeling down. He's like listening to two-step, sidestep, and then later on,
it made me happier.
later he's listening to the many moods of Murray Wilson when he's very depressed.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that's what he does.
I will say I did go on a little scavenger hunt when the sun rays.
I have a comment about
We
that.
all live for the sun.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I own that single.
Ugh.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's really easy to
Who's
find,
it?
actually.
Who's
It must
it?
have actually been a hit.
Who's it credited to?
I don't know.
What do you mean, production or
No, like
writing?
well, so like on Apple Music, they're not listed as the Sun Days.
What?
No.
I'm just saying, I Live for the Sun
Weird.
is credited to a band called The Sun Daze, SUNDAZE, not The Sun Rays.
That's
It must be a cover.
Maybe it's a cover, yeah.
I don't
I was
know.
going to say, like, according to this movie, and I think it's true, the Sun Rays were a combination of the second half of Wilson and Murray.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, Murray doesn't have an A in his name. So what the hell is he talking about? It's Murray, not Murray.
It is.
Anyway.
MURRY.
All right, another thing I liked. When Marilyn locks the fridge.
Yeah.
Did either of you notice what was in the fridge?
No, what was in
Just
the
like
fridge?
whole cakes and stuff, right?
Several full
Yeah.
cakes. And apparently there were long periods of time where all Brian would eat was birthday cakes. Like, they specifically had to be birthday cakes.
Good little detail.
Even if it wasn't his birthday, they were still birthday cakes that
Like
he was
sheet
eating.
cake?
No, just round cakes on little platters. And yeah. So anyway, I loved that.
Yeah.
That was a great little visual cue. So see, I told you this thing's doing it.
Right.
The part where he starts playing a song over and over and over again to the members of the wrecking
What is
crew.
that song? Is it Ding Dang or or is it Shortening Bread?
I put in here. I said Ding Dang reference ?
Yeah.
I don't think he's actually necessarily playing Ding Dang specifically, but it's a reference to the fact that he would sit there for
Obsessed. Right.
hours and hours and hours just playing Ding Dang over and over again.
So he would say, you like it? He was saying like, you like it over and over, and then they would always say,
song.
it's a great song, Brian. That made me think it was an existing song. Like, yeah, we're familiar with that one. Like maybe it was Shortening Bread, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if anything, maybe a reference to the Ding Dang.
I thought it was a reference to Ding Dang, which I like. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed that. All right. We got the answer to a question that we were wondering.
Which?
So it was mentioned a couple of episodes ago. I think when we were talking about the in concert that Gakarl had back problems.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
The cause of those back problems, there's that scene where he is with Dennis moving a piano.
Oh.
And so I think that gave us a
Really?
answer to the cause of the back problems. It's
Maybe.
that time that he had to move the piano with Carl.
All right.
Or with Dennis.
Okay.
So yeah, I figured.
Is that are those all your highlights? Do you have
No,
more?
I got
Okay,
more.
because I've got a couple little notes too.
I have another note that just says Gakarl is a good boy. Because he
Yes,
is.
he is.
He is.
Yeah,
Trying
he's the one that
to keep
tells
things together.
he tells Denny that he likes his stuff, and
Yeah.
that's when we hear
Yep.
Forever.
And he's the one who keeps the family together.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's the rock. He's stable. He's the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
Is he the only one that attends Murray's funeral?
He is.
Well,
Well, and
Bruce, I think,
Bruce
is
and
there,
Al
Al.
and Nick.
Nick. I don't know if they showed Mike there because like
they did
Carl
not.
specifically says that Dennis and Brian should have been there.
Yeah.
So neither of them were.
Yeah.
But I don't think they mentioned Mike.
Last scene, there was a real visual highlight that I loved. They're performing in concert. This is ostensibly it's like supposed to be the Brian is back era, but they have guys on the stage who I think are supposed to be Ricky and Blondie.
Really? See, I was wondering about that.
I wasn't entirely sure, but I sort of interpreted it that way. I
They
guess
totally eliminated those guys from the narrative.
Yeah. But Denny is not playing drums at this point.
Oh, is this when he jumps out and he's just
He
clicking the
jumps out.
sticks?
He is just clicking
It's
those
bad.
drumsticks
I
like
love
his
that.
life depends
It's
on it.
hilarious.
It
And
is
then
awesome.
Stamos is on the kit. Yeah.
He is just like, clicking the shit out
Right.
of those drumsticks, and I love it. I'm here for it.
I wanted to talk about that. So this movie depicts Dennis punching through a window and hurting his hand.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
now I'm not the drummer.
I'm not even a drummer anymore. But they completely gloss over everything after that. That is the thing that made them bring in Ricky Fattar on drums and then Blondie. And they had that whole era they didn't even mention in this movie.
Yeah.
Bruce is there the whole time, even
Yeah.
though he gets kicked out at some point. I think before those two Ricky
Yeah,
and
but
Blondie
Bruce
albums.
is Mike's guy, so
I guess, yeah.
He is. Yep.
I want to talk
Mike
about
is a complicated man, and no one understands him. But Bruce Johnston.
Shaft reference. Okay, I got that. I want to talk about the Manson stuff.
Well,
because,
hold on. Is this still something that you like?
I mean, I like cheesy, ridiculous stuff. So yes.
Yeah, it really is. Go ahead. Talk Manson.
Well, so let's see. There's so much. I've got every single scene like a little one sentence description. Well, just the fact that Dennis, they make him look like he's totally into the Manson stuff. Like there's that scene where Manson is in the studio. He brings him into the studio and he's playing Cease to Exist. And Dennis is like, Charlie, he's the wizard. He says, there's going to be this big race war, and we got to get ready. And he's saying it as if he's telling Carl, "Oh yeah, Carl, we got to get ready for the race war."
He's super excited about the race war.
preparing for it. Yeah. And by
He's
the
like prepping.
yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Manson. So Manson sings that song, but he does say "cease to resist" at one point, which is wrong. So it's like a weird version of that because his version is exist. Let's see. Dennis is getting ready for the race war.
Not only is he getting ready, but he's excited about it.
Yes. And then they all get kicked out. And then Dennis is standing there with Carl or Brian and is saying, Charlie believes in sex seven times a day.
times a day.
Once before breakfast, once after breakfast, once before lunch, once after lunch, once before dinner, once after dinner, and once in the middle of the night.
Middle of the night.
I don't know. There's that great scene where they're kind of intervening with Dennis, trying to get him out of the Manson thing, and Mike's like, meditation saved my life. I don't know. His whole thing when he becomes the deep into the thing.
He's so fucking zen.
Oh, he's insufferable.
There's that last scene where they're talking about Murray, and well, at least he gave us the music. Like, that is literally not something that Mike Love ever would have said. But they portray him as so fucking zen. And it's like, this is not, no.
And after Mike realizes he doesn't have any of the rights to the music, and Bruce brings his father, Mike's father, over because he's on like a starvation diet or something, and he's in the living room meditating. He's meditating, right? Presumably doing transcendental meditation.
Don't touch me!
Yeah. It's like his dad, or I think it was Bruce, like reaches out and touches him. He's like, don't touch me! He's like super pissed about it, even though he's in the middle of meditating.
That's awesome.
So that's a pretty cool part. And then just when Dennis has his mom drive him home with the injured hand, and he
wants her to go
wants her
hang
to
out
come
with
in,
Manson.
and she's like, I don't think I better do that. And then he walks up to the window and sees this weird ritual going on, and runs away, and Manson is just like up against the window in shadowy light, like and
just the voiceover.
Yeah,
you can't leave the family,
and he doesn't even say it out. So that's just great. I love that whole thing.
I love how much just like talking is in there of things that people would literally never say.
Yeah,
that they're just trying to move forward.
Right,
and certain parts of the narrative of like. Endless Summer.
It's quicker to just turn it into a line and say it. Yeah.
They're pitching Endless Summer at the board meeting. Since Watergate, people are really,
right.
Which reminds me, hold
Watergate.
on. It sounds like it's time for an episode of Nixon Notes. Yeah, that's right. It's time for Nixon Notes, where we discuss all things Nixon. I have a question, trivia question.
Watergate. Is that the answer? Watergate.
That was the answer, so now I have to ask another question.
Elvis Presley.
Just stop it.
Jim Henson.
So we all know that Nixon is known as Richard M. Nixon. Glenn, do you know what Nixon's middle name was?
I do know this. This is a Simpson reference. Nixon was named after a Simpsons character.
I think that's correct.
It's Milhouse.
That is incorrect. It was not Milhouse. Not even close. Tim, do you know what Nixon's middle name was?
It's Muffin Top.
Nice. You got it. Yeah.
And that's a Seinfeld reference. His parents are big Seinfeld fans.
Nixon Muffin Top.
Top of the morning.
Nixon?
Yeah.
Top of the muffin to you.
Top of the
I
muffin
could have
to
sworn
you,
it was Milhouse,
Richard.
but whatever.
Nope.
All
right.
Muffin Top.
Solid
Got it.
episode of Nixon Notes.
Good one. Yeah. All right.
Now I know. Now I know better. Times were simpler.
Don't look that up, kids. Yeah.
Ever since Watergate, times have been simpler.
Well, what really helped a lot was Endless Summer.
Endless Summer helped.
Just made things better.
This was my question I was going to ask. I assume we're done with Nixon Notes.
Oh, yeah. It was a good episode.
The tape recorders, when they go to Capitol to talk to Nick.
Oh, yeah. Did that happen?
Brian
Please
doesn't
tell me
talk.
that's
He
true.
just has tape recorders that say, like, it's done when it's done or whatever. Like, what the hell is that? Is that based on reality?
I don't know that was based on anything. It's so
obnoxious.
weird how the
Certainly
band
is.
the
Certainly
first
is.
time the band hates it, and then the second time they're all into it and think it's funny, which is the opposite of how that would probably have worked. But yeah. Anyway.
But, and I was also going to say, like, the only two albums I think Nick mentions in this sort of weird period, he mentions Friends, and I think 2020, but like
the Friends LP didn't even crack the top 100.
Right, but was that even on Capitol? Am I getting my things out of order? I think
it was.
It was. Okay.
Yeah.
2020 was the first one that was not.
No, I think 2020 was on Capitol too.
Oh, that was their last. Okay.
Yeah.
But they didn't really mention Holland or any...
No, see, that's part of the Ricky and Blondie erasure that this movie does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Friends is failed and like whatever, and yeah, that's when Nick brings up Watergate and says that people need something simpler.
Yeah.
And of course, they depict Mike Love coming up with the title.
Oh yeah,
Of
fundamental.
How about Endless Summer?
Of the
critical
concept
moment.
album. The concept album.
Brilliant concept album.
They didn't have him say that, but yeah.
Oh, man.
Great. Let's. I think it's time for an episode of Sound and Vision.
What?
All right, Sound and Vision, where we discuss all things aesthetic using the scale provided to us by David Bowie. Glenn, if we really like something, we call it a...
It's low.
David Bowie's masterpiece. That's right. Tim, if we don't like something, we call it a...
Never Let Me Down.
In which David Bowie definitely let us down. And this comfortable middle ground. If we're okay with it, we can live with it.
Let's dance.
Dance.
Are we rating the
David
fake
Bowie's
beards?
okayest album.
Oh.
Yeah, I just kind of want to we had
Beards,
said we felt
the,
like we liked the visual aesthetic in the first part. I didn't go back again and listen to that episode, but I do remember that we had some conversation about they got the guitars right, and they had done a lot of period appropriate sort of things, and we'd said we liked that.
They got the birthday cakes right.
Yeah, so I guess that's 1-4. They did have the birthday cakes.
The Brian Wilson fat suit.
Bad.
Never Let Me Down.
That's Never Let Me Down. All the fake beards and mustaches are Never Let Me Down.
Pretty
I
bad,
think.
yeah.
John Stamos' ponytail.
Okay, that's low. Yeah. Yeah.
Dear. I don't know. This is just...
Some of the incidental music was really, really bad. Like the scenes in the Manson house. It was like this
Yeah.
like that. No, that was not what the sounds would have been.
I mean, yeah.
I think pretty much
that's the thing.
everything associated with part 2 of the American Family is Never Let Me Down.
I liked the spinning door into the studio, although that was totally
Yeah.
impractical. But I liked it. I don't know if that's real.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a bookshelf.
Yeah. I mean, that would
secret
not have been good for
passageway.
soundproofing at all.
Right.
Which you can now get a secret passageway door at,
They're
at
really
Home
popular
Depot.
now.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you can get one at Home Depot right now.
Okay.
Put it into your house. Yeah,
Yep.
Weird.
apparently.
Very weird.
Yeah, I think aesthetically part 1 is better because there's just so many more bad wigs and beards and mustaches in part 2.
I'm almost willing to give it a Never Let Me Down. There are just some things about it that I really
awful.
don't like.
It's awful. Never Let Me Down.
I don't know. I'll give it a Let's Dance. I think.
No.
It's still a period piece. They still have all those cars and stuff. I don't know.
No, it's
fine.
terrible.
I feel like I just feel like they did a much better job with the early '60s than the late '60s
Yeah.
into the '70s. Yeah. All right, good episode. Any other things that we want to talk about it just in terms of the narrative details or
Dennis burning Murray's T-Bird.
that was weird.
That's cool.
Yeah, he just does the slow walk away from it as it's on fire because of course he does because he's out of nowhere this dude's just an action hero or something.
Yeah.
Is there factual evidence tied to that happening?
Not that I'm aware of.
Was that just for the movie, or is there a rumor that Dennis actually lit Murray's T-Bird?
Let's just go ahead and take it as true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's
Sure.
more. That's
Of course,
more
it's
fun.
true. Sure.
I have a note in here when before Murray dies, when he and Dennis are bonding over forever, Murray and Dennis, and Murray says, "Who'd have thought you would have ended up talented?" Just mean. And then Dennis says something like, "I used to beat the crap out." They were talking about the T-Bird and how he stole it, and then he beat the crap out of him. So my note is they reminisce about the beatings.
Yep.
But then Murray gives him the car, and then Murray dies, and then Dennis sets the car on fire. It's poetic.
Is it though?
No.
Okay.
It's heavy-handed.
And then Murray has a heart attack. They convince Brian to come with them for the tour, but he's off stage at first, and Mike drags him on stage.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. That's like Brian abuse,
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
And it probably didn't happen that way. I know he did go on tour, but I think it was of his own free will, or maybe Landy made him. I don't know.
That's entirely possible. Yeah.
Dennis clicking the sticks.
It was great.
I like the little text. Just like the end of a lot of movies where this happened to this person, this happened to that person. Pretty much everyone dies.
Mike still leads
Gets
the
divorced.
Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, to this day, yeah.
To this day. And that movie's 24 years old, and he still leads the Beach
right.
Boys to this day. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
It's time to rate this thing, I think, right? Unless
Yeah.
do we have
Yeah.
anything
I'm looking
else?
at the rating scale. Please end this.
I actually need to look at the rating scale too because
Did we rate the first half?
I think we said we were going to wait.
right. I think we're doing
until,
them all.
Yeah.
Or both together.
Because I'll rate the first half. I'll give the first half Bruce Johnston.
I got a little bit of an issue with the scale again. I'm going to be totally honest.
Yeah.
We've already said how I think we messed up. Carl and Dennis should be switched.
Yeah.
I also feel like Bruce Johnston is too high. Anymore, I really have found myself going in this exercise, really coming to the conclusion that I do not like Bruce Johnston. And I would say that at least David Marks is better because David Marks to me is like neutral.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's there. He whined a little bit.
I mean,
in the movie, I don't know anything really about the real David Marks.
I mean, David Mark is the fifth position, like the very kind of center position. Bruce, I think Bruce had some good contributions. I don't think, I mean, you read his comments and stuff, and he seems like kind of a stick in the mud and whatever.
No, he allowed Brian to stay home.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean, he
he's-
served a purpose.
Right. So I'm just.
And
So
I
that's
like
a
his
little
cheesy, croony songs too. So I don't
net
know.
positive.
I don't know.
I think he's.
David just didn't really make much of a contribution.
All right,
you know,
fine, whatever. We got to rate this thing then.
he's probably a better guy though.
Yeah.
I gave the first half of Bruce Johnston a 3.0 out of 5.
I think that's fair.
But the second half is decidedly worse. And I think it's only fitting that I give part 2 of the Beach Boys' American Family a John Stamos.
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
John Stamos.
That feels right just
feels
because
right.
we know that it was a John Stamos joint.
Production. Yeah.
I feel like a Wilson Phillips is probably a little more appropriate, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm still
no, it's
new to
bad.
rating movies.
I'm trying to. I mean,
It's
trying to stay
1.5.
neutral as far as like.
You're not. You can't. It's impossible.
Well, sorry, not neutral, but like objective.
objective. No.
Because like I like some of the really bad aspects of it, but I know they're bad aspects.
It's
So-
entertaining.
So
Like,
I think
it's
I would agree
definitely
with-
entertaining.
It's
I would
ironic
put
then. You're
part 2 at
watching it
Stamos.
ironically. You're enjoying it ironically.
Stamos is, I think, appropriate for part 2 because it really is bad. And part 1, Bruce is probably about right. Maybe an Al, but
I mean, it's so bad. It's not even so bad. It's good.
right.
It's so bad that it's
very
bad.
bad.
But
I
that
think
doesn't
if
mean
you-
it's not fascinating.
If you
it's not
average the
interesting.
2 out, though, I think averaging the 2 out and rating the whole movie, maybe it's a Wilson Phillips.
Yeah,
That
I would-
feels fair.
That
Or a
feels
David.
fair.
Yeah.
A Wilson Phillips. Knowing that it reaches the highs of a Bruce Johnston at some point in the early.
That's pretty qualified.
Solid Bruce Johnston.
Oh man, yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Let's just
No, but it's
say
worth
that.
it's worthwhile.
It's worthwhile as
In a
long as
way.
you can watch it objectively
Yeah.
and know that this is Mike Love's version of the American story, the American Family, via John Stamos trying to gloss over.
Right.
And they're trying to name drop as much, backstory in it. So there's some enjoying. If you're a big Beach Boys fan and you know some of the minutia and some of the funds, it's fun kind of seeing some of those little
Right.
Easter eggs in there.
I think if you go into it with knowledge of the real history, it's interesting to
Yeah.
see how things are depicted and what's depicted correctly, and what's depicted incorrectly, and maybe why. Thinking about who the people, the people who produced it. So it has value in that sense, but it's not if you watch it just as a movie to be entertained, I think you're going to get the wrong
Yeah, I
impression
think
of what
it's-
happened, and you're probably not going to be that entertained.
No,
So,
yeah, it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of cringy, not well done stuff. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's good. A TV movie in the in the year 2000.
There were some bright spots
Watching
for it
it
being
at the dinner table or
yeah.
whatever. Maybe it has value there too, but I don't know.
Yeah. Fair.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on it?
Should have Kevin Dunn should have gotten an Emmy nomination. I don't think he did.
No.
I think the series got an ensemble nomination.
No, it did not.
I think it did.
There were no awards attached
I don't
to
think
this.
they won.
Dear Lord, no.
Wow.
Let's see.
This movie would
You're
have...
telling me that fake Brian didn't win?
Oh my gosh. This movie would have been improved if there was an outro scene, like at the very end of John Stamos ziplining from the helicopter. That would have made this, palatable.
Okay, so it was nominated for Outstanding Sound Mixing for a miniseries, movie, or special.
No.
Well, I mean, that overdub of Charles Manson saying, "You can't leave the family" was pretty great.
Outstanding Single Camera Picture Editing for a miniseries, movie, or special. And Outstanding Miniseries. So not ensemble.
No.
But yeah, it didn't win any.
No. Good.
3 noms.
No.
They're just throwing a bone to Stamos.
Yeah.
Major player.
Wow.
All right, well, I'm done talking about and thinking about
please.
this movie. So let's take one final break and we'll come back to wrap it all up. All right, we are back to wrap it all up. We will now never talk about this film again.
I will say,
Nope, it can't be about the movie.
it's not. Instagram updated its layout, and the little mute button
I noticed that
no
too.
longer covers Mike Love's face.
Oh.
I noticed that exactly. That same
It does
thing.
for
while we were looking
mine.
it up.
Maybe I need to reinstall
No, don't
it or something.
update it. Don't update it.
Where's the
you
mute
want to
button
keep
now?
the mute button over. It's just to the right of his
Which
face.
means that my comment now is totally irrelevant too. So, yeah.
At one point, the
That's
little mute
disappointing.
button was over Mike Love's face, and it was fitting.
We
and
need
glorious.
to fix this travesty, Instagram.
Come on, Instagram.
I
fix
did notice
yourself.
that I now have the ability to attach a song on a multi-picture post, which I couldn't do before. Anyway,
Solid.
All right, well, we are done.
Yeah.
With this
We
movie.
need 15 big
And
ones.
thus the Beach Boys story ends.
It's
right
over.
here. It's
There's
over.
no
It's
more to
done.
the story.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They their last album
I
was
wish.
apparently Holland, and
I wish.
and then they just put out the brilliant concept album and
And
went
this-
away.
And that's
excellent movie. And like
No
I
more
said at
Beach
the
Boys.
end, they all died. That's what the text said. They all died
They all died. Yep.
in the Andes. They ate each other,
Yeah. Yep.
and that was that.
Yeah. All right. Great episode.
Until next week.
Yeah. Oh wait. Is it next week? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. All right. Well,
Yes.
we'll
We got
catch
another
you.
album next week.
We'll just do all
oh,
fast food.
yeah.
All fast
All
food.
right. We'll catch you next time.
All right.